Over a year after the previous multiverse event, yet another one was about to occur, and this time it was even bigger than before. Deep inside Area 51, the mirror has sat dormant. A sudden flash from the surface, and the image of an alternate reality appears. This reality is home to Dr. Samantha Carter, who is married to their version of Jack O'Neill. 6 months prior to the event of the episode, they knew that the Goa'uld were planning an attack on Earth, but they couldn't figure out a way of effectively stopping the attack before it arrived. Within this 6-month period, they discover P3R233 and the mirror along with its remote. Little research is conducted on the mirror due to most of the SGA's efforts going into stopping the attack on Earth. The SGA is what the SGC is called in that universe. The mirror is placed inside a storage closet within the SGA. During the inevitable attack on Cheyenne Mountain to gain control of their Stargate, Dr. Samantha Carter and Kowalski make their way to the quantum mirror closet with the remote from a nearby laboratory. Frantically switching through realities, they stumble upon one that seems to be safe. They touch the mirror and head through, arriving in the SG-1 reality. The two variants are questioned by the government for several hours, before being sent to the SGC for further questioning. Jack wanders into the room, with Dr. Samantha Carter reacting shocked to his appearance. In her reality, the two were married, and she had previously lost him 3 days prior while defending the mountain. Jack is equally shocked when Kowalski walks into the room, letting him know that they are from another universe. Our SG-1 view the interrogation of the alternate Carter, with Daniel figuring out that this is a different Carter from the one he met before, due to her being dead in that universe and that reality also being overrun by the Goa'uld completely. The variants are let into the briefing room under Hammond's order, with Kowalski almost attacking Teal'c. They are briefed on Daniel's original impromptu mission through the mirror, with Carter telling Carter why our universe hasn't been controlled by the Goa'uld like most others have. Alternate Kowalski and Carter ask Hammond if they can stay in this reality, to which he assigns them both quarters and sends the request off to Washington. Hammond and Jack are talking in his office when he receives a call letting him know that the alternates can stay. Jack remarks that the decision was far too quick and that they don't know what they're getting into, referring to the multiverse. To help understand the situation better, Jack goes to alternate Carter. She begins to break down under the emotional turmoil of talking to her dead husband. Jack struggles with this as he tries his best to grasp the concept. After spending enough time within our reality, Dr. Samantha Carter begins to experience what is known as Tropic Cascade failure, which means that our Carter is affecting that Carter's existence. To save Sam's life, they come up with a plan on how to save alternate Earth by using the Asgard. With the help of alternate Carter, both Sams are able to reconstruct a semi-functional version of the power device that Jack made a year prior, while under the influence of the ancient knowledge repository. Kowalski then gives Daniel a brief lesson on how to control the mirror. We see a flash of reality. This reality seems to be located at the end of an SGC corridor, outside of the storage closet. I'm unsure as to why they would keep the mirror in such a place, but it's possible they found it on P3R233 or its original home planet and took it back thinking it was just another artifact. The remote for that universe may have been lost also, making the mirror essentially useless. It does resemble stone after all, so they could have brought it back thinking it was simply a stone structure and placed it in the hallway. This mirror is located inside of Area 51, like it was in the SG-1 reality. This universe hasn't had any multiverse visitors yet, as the mirror would have been moved to either the SGC or its own containment unit. This universe's inhabitants most likely had one of their own travel to another reality and return, which is why they have it locked away, similar to what happened to Daniel.
Dial it the other way.
This mirror is inside of a storage closet. There is no grenade damage here, so it's likely that this is another safe universe, although no damage is not always a factor in non-Goa'uld inhabited SGC. This reality's mirror is in the same storage closet as the SGA, SG-1 and the previous storage closet reality, except the place has been overrun by the Goa'uld. This world appears to be in good condition after being overrun by Jaffa, so it's likely that the on-base personnel were knocked unconscious by some sort of stun device, or had to surrender early on in the battle. These Jaffa/Goa'uld may be much stronger than the ones in our reality.
Change it, change it, change it!
This reality is the same in terms of the mirror's location, but this time it isn't clear as to what the state of the SGC is like. They could be overrun, or they could be running as per usual. The mirror is inside of a closet, so it seems that they know what the mirror does, or at least had an idea and didn't want to risk putting it in the corridor. The mirror, being inside of a storage closet, seems to indicate that some type of multiverse traveller has exited that side of the mirror, and that the alternates in each universe are away discussing what to do with them, like what happened in our reality. This idea is further backed with a universe we will see later on. After locating the correct reality, Teal'c dons his original Jaffa armour to replicate the look of alternate Teal'c, and the group travel between realities. The original plan was to leave the mirror connected, but Daniel was ordered to shut it down after a patrol of Jaffa almost spotted the device. Evil goatee Apophis then arrives on Earth through the Stargate, just as Jack and Kowalski manage to draw the attention of alternate Teal'c, luring him to the mirror closet. Our Teal'c gives him a chance to surrender, but he chooses to attack instead, causing his quick demise. Our Teal'c takes Dr. Carter out of the room and begins posing as alternate Teal'c. Daniel turns the mirror back on, with it locking onto a nearby reality. This mirror is located in an SGC laboratory. The inhabitants of this reality could be trying to determine what the mirror actually does, as otherwise it would be in Area 51 or the storage closet. They may not have access to a remote device, so accessing their mirror is practically impossible, leaving them to study its inner workings in the lab. Jack and Kowalski head to hook up the liquid Naqua enhancer to the gate power grid, while Daniel continues searching for home. Goatee Apophis is seen interrogating General Hammond in the gate control room, trying to get the beta site glyphs from him. Our Teal'c is told by Apophis to continue the torture as he goes elsewhere in the SGC, with Teal'c telling Hammond that he can never do such a thing, referring to him as General. Before he can understand what's going on for himself, alternate Carter comes in and explains the situation, talking about the mirror and alternate universes. A Goa'uld mothership lands atop Cheyenne Mountain, and they prepare to dial the Asgard 8 Chevron address. Jack and Kowalski continue to make their way to the power generator room. Back in the storage closet, Daniel continues to scan for home. This reality has 2 serpent guards posted outside the mirror closet, stopping anyone from walking past unnoticed. These Goa'uld may have an understanding of what the mirror does, and could have sent a group of Jaffa through the mirror. Maybe the 2 Jaffa Daniel seen earlier were from this reality, they were exploring other universes. It could explain why there is no visible damage to the corridor in that universe. This reality also has no visible damage, so they could have controlled the SGC for a number of years, using it as an off-world base of sorts. This universe has 2 Jaffa stationed outside the mirror also. They are standing guard before Daniel connects, and once they notice him, they attempt to fire. This Earth has been completely overrun and is now being used as an off-world base by the Goa'uld. They know that the mirror is valuable and have kept the detection lasers on at Area 51, as well as stationed the 2 guards in case anyone attempts to enter or exit the mirror. In this universe, we see a Serpent Guard taking an SGC personnel through the corridor. This reality's SGC may also have had an understanding of the mirror, as it has been moved to the same storage closet that's seen in the SGC and the SGA, and was not placed inside Area 51. It seems that most realities that have the mirror inside the storage closet have either been studying the mirror or actually use it to some degree. This mirror was never brought back to the SGC, and it's entirely possible Stargates don't exist in this universe, or just weren't placed on this planet. We may be looking at the original planet of which species created the quantum mirror, or at least the species that created it in that universe. Daniel must have accidentally made a large jump when fiddling with the remote, landing him further away from the more familiar universes. This mirror universe is almost identical to the SG-1 reality. The one key difference is that Daniel notices Sam is not a captain. The layout of that team is identical to Daniel's universe, and Sam recognises Daniel and is confused when he switches the mirror lock. This means that we are looking at another universe that encountered someone from the multiverse, and that they too are partaking in a multiversal mission to stop the Goa'uld. It is possible that Captain Samantha Carter's version of Daniel scrolled past SG-1 Carter, and they had a similar interaction. These 2 missions are happening simultaneously, just a few universes over from each other, passing over one another, but never interacting fully. Once the power device is connected to the Stargate, everyone begins heading towards the gate room as the address begins dialing right away. It's worth noting that upon the address's completion, the 8th symbol on the computer does not light up a bright red like it does in the SG-1 reality. It's probably just a design difference, but it could also imply that the SGA universe had discovered another 8 chevron address beforehand and attempted to dial, which is why it was coded to be white instead of the red colour, which signifies an unusual address. Teal'c orders a Jaffa to cease fire from his Zat gun as Dr. Carter runs into the gate, sending her to the Ida galaxy. Goatee Apophis is shocked by this, as he feels betrayed by his first prime. Meanwhile, the rest of the group are rounded up by Jaffa before Daniel could locate their home universe. Kneeling before Apophis, he asks how Jack could still be alive after he killed him personally.
I'm feeling much better, thank you.
Apophis then kills General Hammond after Daniel's lackluster explanation, but is forced to stop after a large ship enters the atmosphere. The alternate Asgard arrive mere minutes after Dr. Carter arrived in Ida, beaming out Apophis and his Jaffa. They then make their way around the planet, capturing the last remaining Jaffa. After collecting themselves, Daniel manages to locate their home reality, with the SGA reality now back to normal, or at least better than having Jaffa around. Their world is pretty much destroyed, but the Asgard would help out as much as possible with their extraordinary technology. Jack and Dr. Carter say their goodbyes, with the SG-1 side of the group heading back through, leaving their alternate friends behind, forever.